What I'd really like to ask you to do is kind of start as far back as you like
Sure.
and kind of tell us the story in your own words of your life and the kind of key stops along the way, and maybe people who shaped who you are, situations who shaped who you are. I think everyone's very interested in that.
Yeah, I'd be happy to do so. And I think it actually, once again, starts around family and not necessarily a particular person per se, as much as I think a lot of who I am is shaped by where I was situated, and how I grew up, honestly. I'm one of 9 kids. Interesting, we live in Florida now, but, my dad always says the first string was born in Dallas and the second string was born in Tampa. So the first 5 of us were born in Dallas, and, and then the last 4 were born in Tampa, and I'm number 4. It's an interesting when you have that many kids, which I still have a hard time imagining how someone talk about an accomplishment. No idea how my parents did that. But I was kinda so it goes, the oldest is a girl, so she was basically like a second mom, and then there are 3 boys, so my brother Will, my brother Sam, myself. Then there was a girl, and then there are 4 more boys. So in some ways, I was kind of like the youngest of the first batch. So it's like girl, boy, 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 and then there's another girl. So in some ways, I was like the youngest of the first string of like boys,
Yeah.
but in other ways, I was kind of the middle child too. And both of those were kind of true, I think, in just the way that I grew up. And so it was a unique upbringing. In addition to being from a large family, my mom homeschooled all of us for a very long time. I think she homeschooled for over 25 years. So, I was homeschooled all the way
Wow.
until middle school. My older siblings were homeschooled all the way until high school, and the only reason they went to high school was so that they could play sports. Back then, you couldn't actually be homeschooled and play sports, and frankly, I think my parents did that because they were hoping we'd get scholarships to play sports. Um, they were, 9 for 9. All the Actually, I take that back. The oldest did not play at the collegiate level. She was too busy being a second mother to all of us, but everyone else played Division I sports. So my childhood was one of very close family ties. Um, a lot of time, spent with siblings, and, most of that time outside of school was just play, was free play. I mean, we all the other kids were in school. We were running, we were running the neighborhood, I mean, we were all over the place. We played everything you could imagine. I don't wanna live in the past. I wanna go build something. I wanna go do something. I need to find a new arena. Being there, and I'm grateful for the opportunity, but it felt like I was living in the past, and that was a very uncomfortable place to be for very long. So, I kind of, as I mentioned earlier, reevaluated what gifts and abilities and opportunities and relationships I had formed along the way and the journey, and decided that the best way for me to contribute and to create value in the ways that I wanted to. I didn't want to go work for a big company. I wanted to be entrepreneurial. I wanted to be hands-on, creating value for people that I worked with. I started my own strategy consulting company at a very young age. I think I was 25 years old. I was smart enough after about 6 months to find someone more experienced than me to partner with to actually build out a proper consulting firm. But I was able to leverage a lot of the relationships that I built to work with businesses during this time. Think about this is like 2010, 2011. The market was not very good. A lot of businesses didn't want to invest in business development resources. So I was kind of an outsourced business development, strategist and on the delivery side for a bunch of different types of companies. So it really taught me, um, and it taught me how to think strategically. It taught me how to actually create value. Like, what does that actually look like? It's one thing to put something on a piece of paper, and tell someone to go do it like most consultants. I was actually doing it. You know, I was telling them what I think we should do, and then they were looking to me to go generate business, which gave me a great appreciation for just sales and strategy and all of that. And I'm so fortunate for that opportunity because, and I'll tell you how we got into the partnership at Weatherford Capital. I eventually sell out of that business to join my brothers in starting Weatherford Capital. But if it wasn't for that experience, I wouldn't have come into this partnership on equal footing. I would have been joining my brother's firms and starting a firm with them. And if it wasn't for that kind of next right decision, and being honest about what I was good at, what I would enjoy, how I could create value, and just taking that step to do it, I wouldn't have been in a position to create value, to be an equal partner with my brothers in starting Weatherford Capital. So I sell out of that business in 2014. In 2015, we start Weatherford Capital. And, 10 years later, here we are, and it's been really exciting and fulfilling. I don't know that it would be as much fun if I wasn't working and building something with family. I think that's a big part of why the values matter so much, the way we go about doing our business matters so much, because it's not just a reflection of me as a person, it's a reflection of our family and of our parents and of the way we grew up and the way and what we were taught, on the football field and baseball field and basketball court. That all really matters to me a great deal.
You
Uh,
started your own firm, your instinct. I'm 25 years old. I'm going to start my own firm. You don't think, I'm 25 years old. I've got this amazing brand. Why don't I join McKinsey rather than
yeah,
starting your own firm at 25? I mean, that's amazing.
I think it derives a lot of, um, I think growing up the way that we grew up created a lot of agency. When you're in a big family like that, your parents can only be so involved in your life.
Yeah.
They have to give you a lot of autonomy just by the nature of just management principles and parenting principles. And so I think at a very young age, everything from letting us explore the neighborhood, letting us sleep over at people's homes, letting us go on vacations with other folks, letting us you know, yeah, just kind of be who God had called us to be. My parents were always they were not helicopter parents. They were not. They were very loving, they were very caring, but they let us make mistakes. They let us, they gave us enough rope, um, to grow up, and to take risks and to be our own individuals. And so I think that was something very important to, my mom and my dad, and was just a part of the way that we grew up, which is very different than today, where, most parents won't let their kids, ride their bike around the neighborhood. I was riding my bike, you know, at the age of 10 with my older brothers, 3 miles to the shopping center and going to see a movie and then going to buy a pack of baseball cards and being gone for 6 hours. I mean, that's just the way that I grew up. And I do think it instilled a bit of just self-confidence, um, and, a belief that you're you're worthy, you know, and that you can achieve things. So I do. I think my mom was also a very like she was a visionary type of person. Um, she had big ideas. She was so busy raising kids, never got to actually fulfill those big ideas herself. But in many ways, I think those big ideas are being manifested through her kids. Um, and I think you've met almost everyone at this point. Virtually everybody is an entrepreneur,
Yeah.
e- except my my oldest sister,
Yeah.
who's wonderful, maybe the most capable of all of us. her life was different. The way she grew up was very different. She is very successful in her own right, but not an entrepreneur. She was a part of the structure of parenting all these maniacs. She wasn't running around living as freely as we all were. And I think that might attribute to some of that.